You can fit 14 Stonehenges inside of this stone circle and still have room to spare. This is Avebury, the largest stone circle in the world. Thousands of people come each year to marvel at these magnificent stones, but perhaps surprisingly for many, for a long period of its history, people wasn't visiting just to admire this site, they was coming to try and destroy it. This is the story of Avebury, how many of the locals tried to destroy it throughout history and why it still stands today. Avebury was built around the year 2850 BC, centuries before Stonehenge and long before the pyramids of Egypt. Archaeologists still don't fully agree on what it was for. Unlike Stonehenge, it doesn't appear to have been a burial site. Most now believe it was a gathering place, a vast ceremonial area built for ritual and community on a scale that's almost hard to picture today. For centuries, much of it disappeared from memory, buried, forgotten, swallowed back into the landscape. Then, in 1649, a young antiquarian named John Aubrey stumbled upon the stones, almost by accident whilst out hunting. He was so struck by what he found that he wrote it exceeded Stonehenge in greatness, as much as a cathedral doth a parish church. Decades later, another antiquarian, William Stukely, spent years camped near the site, painstakingly measuring, sketching, and recording every stone that he could find. Avebury has captured the imagination for centuries. Long before modern archaeology arrived, early antiquarians explored this site. But we're not here to admire how well this place has survived. We're here to discuss a stranger story in Avebury's history, where the people living within this monument turned against it. And rather than preserve the stones like we try and do today, they was trying to destroy the site stone by stone. Villagers here decided the standing stones were pagan, sinister, and dangerous to a Christian community, so they set out to bury them. They dug pits beside each stone, then toppled it in, burying it out of sight one by one. It wasn't always safe work. One stone in particular never let go of what it took. The barber stone was named after the skeleton that was found beneath it because it contained instruments which implied that the person was a barber surgeon. It's thought that he was crushed by the stone, but modern analysis gives a different story. Centuries later, the destruction didn't stop, it got worse. By the 1700s, villagers had found a faster method. Light a fire beneath the stone, let it heat through, then throw cold water over it. The shock would crack it apart, ready to be broken up and carted away. The stones were used to build houses, walls, even to cobble the streets. Look closely at many of the older buildings in the village today, and you can still see the faint reddish scorch marks where sarcens were burnt apart. The destruction had a name attached to it. Antiquarian William Stukely, the same man who diligently recorded the site, watched much of this happen right in front of him, and named the man he considered chiefly responsible, a local builder called Tom Robinson. Stukely was so disgusted he gave him a nickname borrowed from ancient history, the Herostratus of Avebury, after the Greek man who burned down one of the seven wonders of the world, simply to have his name remembered. Thanks to Stukely, Tom Robinson's name was indeed remembered, just not in the way he might have hoped. And then the destruction simply stopped. By the time William Stukely visited Avebury in the early 1700s, unfortunately much of the damage had already been done. But the danger wasn't over, and by the 1870s the site had fallen into such disrepair that a local farmer advised part of the land for sale, with plans for it to be built on. It was bought instead by the philanthropist and scientist John Lubbock, helping to secure the future of one of Britain's greatest prehistoric monuments. Decades later, in the 1930s, one man went even further, determined not just to save what remained, but to bring back what we had lost. Alexander Keeler, heir to a marmalade fortune, spent his own wealth buying up land around the monument, removing later buildings, and excavating the buried stone sockets, and painstakingly restoring the monument that we see today. When a stone could be found, he raised it back into position. Where it had been destroyed centuries before, he marked its original position with a concrete pillar, allowing the shape of the monument to be understood once again. And it was during this work in 1938 that Keeler's team made one of Avebury's most remarkable discoveries, but that's a story for another day. Today, Avebury is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, protected, studied, and visited by hundreds of thousands of people every year. But stand here for a moment and let that sink in. The greatest threat to this place ever faced wasn't time, wasn't weather, and it wasn't even war. It was the very people who lived inside it, and had they finished what they had started, the largest stone circle on Earth might not exist today. If you'd like to experience Avebury for yourself, we'd love to welcome you on one of our guided walks through this extraordinary prehistoric landscape, where we explore the archaeology, history, folklore and mysteries that make this one of Britain's most remarkable places. Don't forget to subscribe for more forgotten stories from Britain's past.